welcome to another great episode of Messier Mantra. On this episode, we have a very special guest. He's a motivational speaker, and his name is Aaron Wilson. Aaron.
Hey,
what's
how's
up, buddy?
it going? Cheers.
Have a little toast. It's New England time, you know, it's winter
freezing.
time. Yeah, but we're doing all right. So you're a motivational speaker, and I do want to mention that a previous guest of the Messier Mantra, Gina Madison, referenced you.
Yeah,
and
she's awesome.
yeah, so I want to thank her for referencing you.
Thank you, Gina.
Yeah, thanks, Gina. So now, we talked about it off air, but how did you get involved in motivational speaking? Take me through the timeline.
Yeah, definitely. So I got involved after I graduated from Bryant University. I joined Americorps. And the funny story here is I went to a business school. You would have companies come in, talk about nonprofits and different organizations like that. But I was like, no, I want to be corporate. I want to be on Wall Street, making tons of money. And then I ended up in Americorps, which is a volunteer stipend position. But it was an amazing opportunity, and it changed my life. And it really showed me what you could do by serving others. So speaking of how I got into motivational speaking, in Americorps, 2 members, we were talking about careers one day, and I said, guys, what do you think I could be? Because I don't know. You guys seem to have it together. And I remember Crystal, she was like, you know what you should be, Aaron? A motivational speaker. And I'm like, what? She's like, yes, you inspire all of us, and you can, inspire a crowd. And that stuck with me, and I'll never forget that.
That's great.
Yeah, it was huge.
Now, for those that don't know, Americorps is what?
So Americorps is a service program that you can join in. It's all across the U.S., and you can be placed in different fields. Government, public schools. I was placed in a mentoring program. So it's really great. It's a volunteer stipend opportunity, but you do get a little stipend, but it's just an amazing experience. You really get hands-on projects and a lot of responsibility. So for something right outside of college, it's amazing, because honestly, from there, I just started to build. So
nice. And where are you from, Aaron?
I'm from Brockton, Massachusetts, City of Champions.
City of Champions.
City of Champs, yep.
And that's Marvelous,
Yep.
Marvelin Hagler, the boxer.
Rocky Marciano, yep.
And the Brockton Rocks.
Yes, Shoe City. It started there first, yes.
What's Shoe City? I don't know.
So like we have a lot of shoe manufacturers that came right out of Brockton. And not only that, I just found this out a couple of years ago. Thomas Edison lit up Brockton downtown in Brockton. Yes.
Nice.
So it was just amazing so there's a lot of rich history from that city.
Yeah, and the Brockton Fair and Doughy Ducks.
Yes.
Don't know place.
Yep. DW Fields Pond. That's awesome.
Okay, so now let's get into the heart of motivational speaking. So first of all, for those that don't know, a motivational speaker comes into a platform for a community or for, well, you tell me more about it.
Yeah, definitely. So for motivational speaking, it's funny because you think it's such a broad term. I feel when I first got into this years ago, I thought it was just, you get paid to speak or you get paid to motivate. But it's way more, it's bigger than that, because it's not only going into a school and motivating, because what is motivation? But it's really going and bringing a piece of information, maybe adding a different spin to it, but also follow-up as well. Sharing what happened in your life, sharing it with a group of people in hopes that it could have them think about maybe their situation a different way and apply those skills. So, for example, one of the past things I used to do was speak in schools, possible churches, organizations, and that's what I still do now. But my focus point is actually really reaching out to these high school programs. So it's Aaron, the motivational speaker, but I actually built a platform called Lead the Baseline, which is my business. And what that is, it focuses in leadership. So leadership curriculum, going into these schools and showing a curriculum of really how to be an effective leader and how to step up and be that leader, and giving them practical resources and tools to do so. Nice.
Now, is leadership a trait that is lacking, you think, with today's kids?
Definitely. And having the background, I actually came from a strong, rich educational family background. My father was principal in Shrewsbury, and he also was the Department of African American History. He ran it in Brockton High, and just always teaching, and my mom, biblical counselor. So I came from a very educated family background, and so I went into substituting when I was in college. So after my second year in college, I started substituting. And what I found out in the schools is I seen not only a lack of confidence, but a lack of students believing in themselves or actually believing they were leaders. And then I thought back to my own high school experiences. I wasn't as confident as I am now. I wasn't the leader I am now. If anything, I was a follower. So how can I take what I learned now, take what I learned from other people, and go back and help the youth? And that's what, started Lead the Baseline. That's what compelled me to do this work.
With let's explore these kids these days too, because it does interest me. With the kids, is it anything to do with the technological advantages that, and I have my thoughts about this, the smartphones and the, everything, the straight to consumer movies, instead of going to a movie theater at least and having to buy the popcorns in the theater, these kids are just streaming right on their hand.
Yeah.
Now, is this, in my opinion, that might be leading to anti-social behavior or solidarity or not solidarity, the reverse of that, isolation, really. Do you think I'm right about that?
Honestly, yes. I definitely think that plays a role into it because it takes away the human connection, and that's important. A lot of these things with the leadership and personal development workshops, we touch into soft skills, which is lost. And that's one of the things that I really wanted to, make clear and put a stamp in is that, yes, we have like the education system. We need our math, we need our English, we need the geography, we need the history, but we need the soft skills. We need who are you? How can we help this student develop who they are or figure out what they want to go after, and applying those soft skills that are lost. They're lost. So I definitely feel technology definitely has something to do with that as well, So I agree with you on that point.
Thanks. Yeah, it's just crazy because it's like, technology, and a generation ago it could have been all this crazy kids with their TV or their, it's always something. But these books, what are they?
I know, right? You need a balance, right? Yeah, because technology is, it advanced us as well. So it's really just, having those two, because in a good way, like, we have Facebook now and Twitter and Periscope, which is great, but we also want those human, those one-on-one connections.
Right.
I want to cheers with my water bottle,
Yeah, right. So, Aaron, what would you say, maybe, here in Seekonk on TV9 or when the show gets to Rhode Island and Vimeo and across the world, really, when someone sees Aaron Wilson, what is like the heart of the message that you want to bring to them? I know just in a short time, but what do you want to say to them?
I want to say that just be excited for your life. Like, you're brought here with a purpose. And I know it might sound so broad and like, okay, what is he talking about? But I didn't always come from this level of confidence or going after your dreams, but this awakened inside of me. And I guess that's the biggest thing, to really awaken who you are, why you're here. You're here for a purpose. And, we have to break out of whatever system, whether it's the 9 to 5 or whether it's something our family said or whether our friend said, but we have to break out of that system. And you have to know that, you have a purpose. You're the bomb.com, smile and just know God brought you here for a reason. And I talk to this even amongst my friends or people, and I'm like, what do you really want to do with your life? And the question, and it's not like, this is what I want to do. It's more of like, I don't know. I still got to think about this. And it's young people, it's adults. I just ran in conversation. We're still figuring out, but let's stop what we're doing and figure out what we really want to do. What makes us happy, and let's cut all the excuses and let's go after it.
What triggered, you said you were triggered at some point. Was there a few things or one thing or a book you read or an influence that kind of had an epiphany for you, or there's a few things that kind of like motivated you to kind of get going?
Yeah, honestly, it was everything. It was not only like my church family, it was my friends, it was my mentors, it was my family, but I think it was a buildup. And one of the things we talk about in the workshops is thoughts have power. And I started thinking about, okay, what about the possibilities? Or what about if I actually went after what I really loved? And and the more you start thinking of something good or bad, you're going to bring that to you. You're going to attract that. So in my head, I really started thinking like, you know what? This is what I want to do. you know, and the more I started speaking it, you know, because words have power. So my thoughts transformed into words, transformed into it actually happened in my life, and my faith brought that. I called that out, and everything that's happening right now, it was thought about before it was actually in real life, before it was a reality.
So did you do goal setting? Like, did you do
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny you say that because that's one of our workshops, dreams and goal setting. And it's really, you know, okay, we have this great big dream. It's awesome. But how do we take that dream and make it a real physical manifestation?
Right.
So, and that's when goal setting comes into play. So.
And so people that don't know and will, goal setting is basically when you say, well, I want to make a movie, I want to write a book, I want to fly a jet plane type of thing, and you actually, instead of just thinking or these ideas kind of flow in and out of your system, you take a pen or a pencil or type it up. And have you done that yourself?
Yes, of course. And we do also a vision board, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, so a vision board quickly is just you get a board. It can be from Walmart, any place, and then you print or you cut out from magazine pictures of things you want to attract in your life or things you want to do, whether it's a house, whether it's, you know, spend more time with family or contracts, whatever it is, and you post it on the board. And the thing that's so powerful about that is that once you post those on the board, it's like you're being bold about your life. You're saying, you know what, this is what I want. This is what I want to go after. So it's awesome. So that's a part of goal setting, really just sitting down and, you know, instead of just having the thoughts all here, writing it down or printing it out or putting it into a picture, like making it a reality before it actually is a reality.
I think there was a web platform, correct me if I'm wrong, Pinterest, was that?
Yes.
Yeah, that kind of has a virtual, like on Pinterest, and no plug for them, but I have done it myself. You can go in there and it's kind of nice, like you can pick pictures from the internet or from your personal.
See, my sisters told me about that. They're like, Aaron, you need one. I'm like, okay, not another social media app. No, because it's like, yeah, even before we start filming, Snapchat, like, I'm like, no, I just have Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Like, it's hard to manage these things. Once you have them, they're like little kids.
Yeah, we need secretaries, personal assistants to jump in. And it is tough because because in the entertainment industry, we'll talk about your entertainment career also, but in the entertainment career, I get this a lot. Oh, Mike, you got to have, you know, your Facebook jacked up. You got to have your Twitter jacked up. But for me, it's like, personally, like if I'm putting all this time into Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, where is the time when I'm actually writing a screenplay? Where is the time when I'm actually,
that's huge. I'm so glad you brought that up because it's doing all the admin and the back end and all this different stuff. It's like, wait a minute, we're the talent. We need to, when are we going to have time to actually work on the craft? Like it got to a point when I was like, when's the last time I got to sit down and work on, you know, my music or, you know what I mean? Just to be in that, you know, that caused us to get here in the first place, that pure inspiration, you know?
The actual art instead of marketing yourself.
Exactly.
It is a tough balance because you want people, you know, on social media to know what you're up to and the networking and the, hey, let's get together. But as you just said, you actually have to do the actual work too.
The actual work.
So speaking of the actual work, not only do you do motivational speaking, but I was talking to you do modeling, acting, hosting, you know.
Singing.
Yeah, so you're dressed up pretty nice tonight.
Thank you, yes.
Is there something going on in Boston?
Yes, so I'm going to the Boston Renaissance Hotel, so there's going to be a huge event there, and I'll be actually playing the model or actor for a game show type of thing, so it's going to be exciting.
That's great. Yeah, and with entertainment, you know, it's always like gig, you know, you just try to be involved, you know, and hopefully you get involved as much as possible.
Exactly.
You make those contacts.
And make those contacts and those connections.
And we're talking about an acting class you recently taken.
Yes.
That was like a 2-month experience you had?
Yes, that was awesome. That was at Company One Theater in Boston off of Tremont Street. And it was just an amazing experience. I just got off of the movie Ghostbusters, doing some work there. And I don't know, just being around everybody on the cast, it just inspired me. Like, you know, let me work on this skill. You know, so I signed up for that class, and it was an amazing opportunity working with not only the directors, but the whole crew. You couldn't ask for something better, and it really took me out of my comfort zone. And that's one of my main themes is, in order to really live, we need to step out of that box. We need to step out of our that circle that makes us comfortable, because that's when we really can have positive change.
Stop being comfortable.
Exactly, not only in our life, but other people too, because people, they vibe off of that. They vibe off of that energy. So
nice. I ask, we're about the halfway point of this episode. We're going to have another episode too. But I want to surprise you a little bit. We always ask every guest to have a mantra. Now, do you have a slogan or an expression or a quote from someone else that you think about?
All right, yes, I definitely have. I have a couple, but I'll use, mine is awaken the leader in you.
Okay. Tell me what that means. That's great.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So awaken the leader in you is, and this is kind of already saying there's a leader inside. Whether you know it or not, it's still there, just like a tiny little mustard seed inside of you. And what my call to action is, and my challenge to you, is to awaken it. Yes. Even so awaken that leader in you, whatever that is, wherever you want to go in your life or your career or your dreams or what you want to go after, awaken it. Start to water it. And I guarantee you'll start to see a change.
Nice. With myself as an acting coach, so many times I've had more so adult students who are so frustrated because they've ignored their acting talents or they haven't even explored it, and then they get to be 30, 40, 50, 60, even 75, 80 years old. They say, wow, I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to do a theater show. I wanted to try to be in a movie, but mom and dad wouldn't let me, or I didn't think I'd make money, or I was afraid to travel, or, so I run into those situations, and some of these people, they do have talent, and it's kind of like buried under a lot of, life that, situations and choices maybe they made that weren't the best at the time, and, et cetera, et cetera. And so what I think is great about what you're doing, Aaron, is you're approaching some of these younger people, middle schools, high schools, and try to shake them up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, they don't make those, not the same mistakes, but they don't make less than the best choice.
Yeah, they go after what they truly want. And that's another thing in schools. And, with the capacity of students and whatnot, like, I feel right now we're feeling at the point of really sitting down with the student and figure out, what do you want to be, or what are your talents? What makes you happy, We're just sending them straight off to college. Not like it's a bad thing, but let's sit down and figure out, where does this student want to go? Like, for example, there was this one student I was talking to after doing a workshop, and they're going to like an engineer school after. And I was like, oh, that's great. And I was like, that's what you want to do, right? And he's like, well, honestly, I wanted to do stand-up comedy.
Wow.
And I'm like, why wasn't a teacher or someone, why didn't they grab their hands on him and was like, you know what, let's go to a comedy night? Because they have, in Boston and probably they have nights where you can be anybody and you can get up on stage and, just
open mic night.
Open mic night.
Right.
So that's what that student should at least, have the capacity to, I wish there was a program, lead the baseline, but something that really can just get in there and just really focus on what these youth want to, like, what do they really want to do, and what's the process, even if it's just getting them in the process of what they need to do.
Yeah, because this potential young man could have gone to Second City in Chicago, or the Laugh Factory. The Laugh Factory might be in Boston. I'm thinking of one in L.A. There's a lot of choices. And,
there's a lot of choices.
And even being a stand-up comedian, sure, it's a tough profession, but if you're going to be an engineer and not have that passion for it, just because...
That's what I'm saying. And now in the economy we live in, I feel like any profession's tough. Like, whatever you do, you're going to have to work at it regardless to be successful. You might as well do what you love.
Right, because there's no guarantees.
There's no guarantees, nope.
And these companies that, whether it was... the big car manufacturers or the whatever trades that were big 50, 100 years ago in the Industrial Revolution are now not so much. They're not guaranteed that this company is going to support you and you're going to support them for your whole life. So it kind of is, every man and every woman for themselves at this point. So might as well do what you like.
Exactly.
Now talk about, it's called Lead the Baseline?
Lead the Baseline.
Yeah, tell me about your company.
So yes, exactly. So Lead the Baseline is a leadership platform that goes into schools, universities, and corporations and does leadership workshops. So we just don't go and just say some, motivational spill, but we actually do these workshops, really give practical tools to the participants to actually immediately start applying them to their life. So, for example, in one of the workshops called Awaken the Leader in You, so it's really talking about the leader in you. Are we born leaders or do we become leaders? We really delve into that topic and we kind of open it up to the floor. So there's really hands-on activities that allow the students to engage with one another on whether or not, like, you know, whether they are a leader or what's the leadership qualities. Like I actually leave the room and I come back in and I have my head down and just all these things that lack leadership. And I'm like, what's not a leader about that? And they have to kind of point out what's not a leader. I go, leave the room, come back in, I'm confident. And, you know, so different exercises to really delve into this and really ultimately showing that, you know what, each and every single one of you are leaders. Whether you believe it or not, you guys are leaders. And this is probably one of my best moments of the class, like goosebump moments. So these students get to actually look at the board, like take leadership words from the PowerPoint that I present, or create their own powerful affirmations. And I ask who wants to come to up in the front of the room, and amazed, there's girls, boys, like people that actually get up and read their list out loud. It's like it's their chance to declare who they are, you know, not in front of, you know, and they can do it in front of a mirror when they get home. I always, you know, say, you know what, do these affirmations, you know, every day for yourself. But to even get up in front of a room and declare those powerful words, chains are broken. They're doing something even more powerful than they think in that moment. And it just blows me away each and every time. And it's just, I'm so happy for them. So happy.
I've got a couple of follow-up questions. So what is the difference between a leader and a follower?
The difference between, because with leading, I also definitely believe in following a leader in the good term, in that sense, meaning, you know, even with me, I have mentors, I have a great family structure, I have, you know, so I follow in that sense.
Right.
But the following that I'm talking about when I was a follower back then is just not even following possibly the wrong crowd or not having a voice of my own.
Right.
A true leader is not perfect. But a true leader realizes that, you know, they can learn from everyone. They can learn from different people, but they're willing to go after what they want. They're willing to be that person to encourage someone else. They're willing to lead their own life and work on themselves. Because as leaders, like I said, we're not perfect. But if we can know that we're all under construction, we're all here, everyone, every single person on this earth is under construction. Knowing that, but still saying, you know what, I still have something to contribute to society. I still have something that I can contribute to this world and help another person. That's true leadership.
Yeah, we're all works in progress.
We're all works in progress, Mike.
Did you ever see that, something I saw a while back? It's like a self-actualization pyramid. Have you ever seen that thing?
Yes. Yep.
You know, we don't have it, you know, a graphic of it, but it was like this pyramid where it says like the top is like the self-actualized person.
Yeah, we got that, yeah.
Tell me about that. What's you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. In my head, it could be because I'm hungry. I'm thinking of the food pyramid, but like, but no, the self-actualization. Yeah, that's awesome. It's like at the top is like where we want to be, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then at the bottom is like the base.
Right.
The baseline. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, no plug. But yeah, no, definitely. I think that's like to me, that's a visual tool to see like, okay, where do I kind of want to fit in this pyramid, or what could I work on, or, you know, what's the, you know, the steps to that piece and stuff. And that kind of fits in the dreams and the goal setting piece,
right.
Having those statements or having those, you know, those things of where you want to be. So definitely.
Nice. I want to ask you, do you have, you know, like for me, I liked some of the names like Tony Robbins, Wayne Dyer, some of those people. Do you like any of these?
Yes, they're awesome. Willie Jolly, which is awesome because the first time I seen him speak on a stage on YouTube, he actually sang too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I sing too.
Right.
This is awesome. I can do both. And then Les Brown, of course, and, you know, Tony Robbins. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's actually a lot. It's funny. One of my friends asked me, Aaron, so which motivational speaker do you follow?
Right.
Like, who do you follow? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's so many. It's like, I don't literally sit there and watch all their things, but I listen to each and every, like, snippets of each. And, like Steve Harvey is an amazing one. There's this amazing one on YouTube that puts a compilation of, like, it's an hour, but it's all these different motivational speeches put together, and it's awesome. And also Alan Dagba, which is my mentor, which is an amazing not only motivational speaker, but just an amazing person, an amazing coach. He's awesome. So that really had a strong influence on me.
What's his name again?
Alan Dagba. So he's the owner of One Happy Life. He's a speaker, author, just an amazing person.
There was a guy I've seen on the Steve Harvey show named T.D. Jakes. Is that
T.D. Jakes, he's another one,
big,
yep.
Bald guy, yeah. He's written some books, yeah. So there's a lot of this field. I wouldn't say, I don't know whether to say it's blowing up, but maybe it's already been blown up. I don't know.
And I don't know. It's one of those things where a couple of years ago I didn't see it as being as big as it is now. Maybe because, you know, I wasn't really, the more I got into it, the more I realized how big it is. Almost like, you know, do you ever notice, well, I know for me, before I got my car, I was like, oh, I want that color.
Right.
And then after I seen that every single, so I think it's one of those things. But yeah, it's awesome because what you're doing is, I was talking about this the other day with a team member, what we're really doing is we're taking inspiration, or we're taking these life lessons that we learned, and we're kind of putting our own spin on it. So everything is, there's nothing really new under the sun, but it's really taking, you know, our unique gifts and talents and displaying information in a new way that can connect to people, and that people can get healed and be inspired from it.
Yeah, it's like the acting profession. Like you had Sanford Meisner, and before him Konstantin Stanislavski, if I'm saying that right. And then you had all the, you know, Uta Hagens and Stella Adlers, and now you have people who are third, fourth, fifth generation of acting teachers and their students, and the craft evolves, you know, but like you said, there's nothing new under the sun, so we don't know what was going on in Shakespeare's time with the actual Shakespearean actors. They, you know, they might have been done something that we're actually not as far removed from that as we think we are, you know, but because not all of history is recorded, so to speak, you know what I mean? So we're about a minute and a half left on this episode. We're gonna have you on for another episode. Anything you wanna say to the Messier Mantra audience as we wrap up this episode?
Yeah, I just want to say this is an awesome experience. I'm having so much fun. It's beautiful here. Everyone here is awesome, and I'm just really excited for this show, and I'm excited for you and what you're doing within the community. So keep watching, guys.
Keep watching Messier Mantra.
Seriously.
So we got about a minute left, and I just want to say, you know, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And are you a football fan or not?
Huh? It's funny. So I'm Pats. I'm New England, but I'm really like focused on my business and the acting and the singing. Like those are the things I am. But I am a New England fan.
Okay, good. Sometimes we talk about, you know, these serious topics, and then what I'm getting at is like, is there a way to have balance? Like, say, you know what, I need a day off from my own thing. Let me watch.
I'm learning to do that. You know, I have this big event this Saturday on the release of my second music video, and then after, I can't wait till Sunday, because Sunday at 8 p.m. I already plan to just watch a movie. Right. Like pop some popcorn, order some food, and just, you know, watch a movie. And I'm actually like excited for that. Nice. I'm excited. You know.
All right, Aaron Wilson. Well, we're gonna have you on another episode.
All right, definitely.
Okay, thank you so much for being here this week.
Thank you.
This is Messier Mantra. We've had a great episode with Aaron Wilson, and we'll see you next time here on the Messier Mantra.